Welcome to the Anti-New World Order Party. My name's Dan Leach, your host. This is John McGuire, my co-host. We're going to be talking today about Occupy movement. The fact is that the Occupy movement is not what it appears to be. It's actually something else. And we're going to be discussing what that other something else is. Now, today on my Facebook, I got a surprising public announcement from the Occupy movement. And it was from the OccupyMarines. Now, the OccupyMarines sounds really cool, you know, like they have some really interesting things that they're trying to recruit people for, you know, some really interesting things. And I'm going to read a few of those things here to you so you folks get an understanding. Look, I'm going to read it, and it says, we're taking the battle to the next level in 3 areas to imitate, concern, and order of reverence. Now, they're talking about repealing the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act. Now, that sounds like a really great idea, and I agree with it. I think we should repeal that. The next one is overturn Citizens United, corporations are not people, by constitutional amendments or any other resolution identified. Another really good, you know, topic to get people all riled up to, you know, to join your cause. Great. Now, the number 3, exposing and exposing and indicting the 1% Wall Street, the banks, including the Federal Reserve, headed by Wall Street, and international bankers and the mega corporations. Their corruption practices in relationship with our government have destroyed our economy and society. Our mentor, Major General Smedley D. Butler, U.S. Marine Corps, disputed a fascist coup against the FDR in 1934. And they go on to say, we face the same situation today on a much grander scale. We intend to demand that our representatives hear and support our grievances. And we'll read on to the very end of this. We have many concerns to correct the course of our ship. We will continue to fight the oppressed. We will stand with the people, the 99%. We cannot support a government that is controlled and corrupted by 1% of Americans. Now, that, to me, sounds really great. I mean, these are some really cool ideas, you know, 99%, you know, can't support the 1%. But if you are a patriot American and you read this and you say, oh wow, I'm going to just go and join this organization because they have to say some really nice things on a press release, but you don't investigate what Occupy has been, what it was founded as, then you're willfully ignorant, okay? You're following like a blind sheep. Now, I began with the Occupy movement when it first started. You know, it sounded really cool, but I got into doing some investigating and found out that these people that are really running this organization are straight up communist, card-carrying, you know, and they're the ones that are really directing the path of the Occupy movement. Now, they say that they're starting to recruit, you know, veterans and all these interesting people. Now, here's the title of this this press release. Occupy Marines press release dated July 8th, 2012. And this was the email that I got from a guy named Bill Powell. Now, the name Powell, I don't know the guy very well, but if you look at the Powells that we've had in the past in our American, you know, political associations, the Powells that there haven't been the greatest upstanding patriot Americans. But what he has to say is Occupy Marines are looking for a few good vets. They even accept Army, Airborne, SEALs, Delta Force, Blue Angels, Green Berets, and most other vets who have the drive and bearing to see this through to the end. Apply by contacting me. Message me on my page. It's time. It's time for what, Bill? Is it time for a bloody revolution like the Communist Party has wanted? Is it time to use people with their well intentions, these people that are patriots that really, they want to do good for the country, so you take that and you harness that energy and you're going to, focus them on overthrowing the constitutional government. Yes, okay, our government's gone array right now. But to say that it's totally out of, ability to be fixed, not cool. So my point is here, this blog is all about identifying these Occupy people and really warning you about who they really truly are. The leadership is by George Soros and a lot of the other communists out there. Well, anyways, I wanted to give John an opportunity here to speak about his experience with the Facebook group of Occupy movement. I've had some very similar experiences as well to John's, but let's just say they don't want to speak about the truth, and they do not want you to talk about the New World Order. They'll kick you out as quick as you say the word New World Order. Anyways, here's John with some commentary of his experience. Go ahead.
Right, so a lot of us hear people say that they're, a woman in a man's body or a man in a woman's body. Well, I was trying to say to them that I was a black man in a white man's body. And obviously, I can't prove it. No one can prove it or disprove it. But they were not open-minded to that at all. I was very shocked and amazed by the fact that even though I like all the things black people like, and I feel like there's a fair case to make that I'm a black man in a white man's body, they didn't want to hear it at all. They didn't care. They were not compassionate. They were not open-minded. They weren't interested in, in my feelings and in how I experience life. It didn't fit their agenda, so they just verbally abused me and called me all kinds of terrible names just because of who I am. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked and amazed. And so this is a good example of the type of hypocrisy you see on the ground in the Occupy movement. Of course, this doesn't speak to even how bad the higher levels are. This was just with the local leadership. They absolutely did not want to hear it, and I feel discriminated against for how I am, who I am. So that was all I had.
Alright, well anyways, John was talking about the local Rochester Occupy movement. Myself, I was basically, when I talked about, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and I'd even talk about the New World Order. Because, these people they talk about, they're the 99%, and they want to expose the, the 1% and the bankers. And, so if you would talk about anything about, who the bankers are, who they work for, if you would bring up the word George Soros, they would automatically try to shut you down, and they'd say, oh, you're a troll, and, they would delete anything you'd have to say. So it was kind of like, so after being deleted about a half a dozen times for comments that I had made about, the history of the banking cartel, they finally just totally just blocked me from any interaction at all. So I just want to encourage you guys to do some research into the history of this group. But we're going to make a second part to this and get more into detail about the Occupy. So stay tuned for part 2 of Occupy Movement Bloody Revolution. Thanks.